The story begins in a war zone in Afghanistan, where the Spanish military is performing an evacuation mission. A medic named Captain Varela. She is rushing to get any wounded civilians, and she comes across a mother with an injured son. The kid is severely wounded, and Varela rushes the family into the evacuation helicopter. There, she really tries to process different procedures to save the boy's life, but sadly, the child loses his consciousness and dies right in front of his family. Varela is traumatized by these war results, which often leave her desperate to go back home to Madrid. Abda is her assistant medic, and the captain is a close friend of hers. For now, they have already taken off to reach safety in the camp, and soon enough, we catch Varela with Captain Torres. He is worried about her and how the previous incident might have offended her, but Varela assures him she is definitely fine. Torres shortly leaves, but Varela glimpses that her hands are stained with the boy's blood. She quickly goes to shower, but she ends up breaking down there and crying her eyes out. The next day, Valeria once again went out of her solitude. Today, she faces the mail room to deliver some letters, and then Abda comes to her to introduce her to a new nurse. Her name is Sanchez, and she will be aiding them on duty. Sanchez is a more or less inexperienced soldier, and she will have to work along with Abda and Varela. The next day, the Spanish military was on the move to evacuate when the U.S. military cars were also on the roads. The U.S. military is also performing an evacuation mission. Suddenly, their truck accidentally activated a mine. Rocks flew up and broke the front mirror. When the smoke cleared, the team leader discovered two of his teammates were injured and immediately ordered the rest of the team to be alert. They had advanced deep into the terrorist-controlled area and were aware of the possibility of being attacked by terrorists in the surrounding terrain at any time. The commander ordered Lieutenant Conte to lead the detachment and the sniper team to stay and protect the injured soldiers. Two American soldiers were severely injured by the explosion, and medics are needed right away. Conte is needed to prepare a landing zone for the helicopter that will arrive. He is given a translator and ordered to evacuate from the area as soon as the wounded are helped and transported. Shortly after, the large force left the area and got back to the base. Meanwhile, the medic arrives in a helicopter, and the helpers are Varela, Abda, and the new nurse, Sanchez. The captain is Torres, and he asks what the environment of the landing is like. He is told it's a bit dusty, and he informs them he's arriving in a few minutes. However, just as the pilot was about to land on the ground, a large amount of dust and smoke rolled up, causing the pilot to lose visibility. It was impossible to determine what was going on below. As a result, the helicopter that had just landed accidentally fell into quicksand. The fuselage immediately lost balance and rolled over. The soldiers saw the scene and were all dumbfounded. Conte, especially, was confused about what to make of the accident. The soldiers arrived there to check on the team medic, and surely they were fine. Luckily, there were no casualties. After the rescue team got off the plane, they immediately began providing first aid to the injured. Varela helped the American soldiers stop the bleeding on his throat and stabilize him. News of the helicopter's overturn quickly spread back to the Spanish command. The prospector made an offer to go to the general and request that a new helicopter be sent, because they can't leave the helicopter stuck in the quicksand. If they leave it there, the terrorist groups will come and take pictures with it, depicting it as their victory. So the commander complies with the request for aid being sent. However, they must first remove the unimportant parts of the helicopter so it can be pulled out of the quicksand. The general heard the reasoning and agreed with the captain's plan. Then the trapped soldiers were ordered to remove parts from the Jaguar helicopter to reduce its weight by 1,500 kilos. Lieutenant Conte then briefed his team on what kind of survival and hiding strategy they would use until they could evacuate from the area safely. After surveying the surrounding terrain, the captain on the other side discovered that there were mountains and a flat area around. It would be extremely disadvantageous for them, so they set up their tent there, but due to a lack of manpower, the sniper team could only occupy key positions to stay alert. Later on, Varela is seen helping Captain Torres band-aiding his wounded leg. As we have seen them before, they are close, and he is worried about how she is taking it. He knows that she is planning on going back home, but he didn't dare tell her to stay. When night fell, the soldiers began to camp on the spot to take precautions. After that, while the soldiers were removing unnecessary parts of the helicopter, Lieutenant Conte arrived and checked on them. There is still much work to do, but in the meantime, the communications captain said that the sniper team was 300 meters to the southeast and had sighted someone who looked like a shepherd. Conte and the others rushed to see the man on the hill, but they didn't take action immediately. Conte, however, orders satellite tracking to figure out more about the appearance of the man. On the contrary, the shepherd just kept looking, staring at the American military camp. The officer named Aguilar, who was standing next to Conte, did not want the shepherd to leave easily, so he kept on pointing his gun right at the man. However, due to the rules of engagement, the shepherd did not reveal his weapon. They could not lead the attack. One of Conte's soldiers, the translator, rushed towards the shepherd and chased him away with stones, but he did not know that this move would almost bring disaster. When he came back, Aguilar shouted at him for making the dumbest move, but shortly after the call Conte made earlier returned returned, and the satellite tracking revealed the assumed shepherd was actually a spy for the terrorist Taliban, and he came to spot their location. Aguilar gets even angrier at the translator, but Conte tries to stay calm. Later on, at the Spanish base, the commander tries to brief the team on how they could decrease the weight of the helicopter so that it could be easily lifted by the aid they will send. Outside in the desert, Captain Torres and Conte meet to communicate progress. Torres tells him there is still much to remove, and Conte also takes Nurse Sanchez to send her to the snipers, as help is needed there. She gets there, and the boys joke about how hot she is. At night, Sanchez and Varela are seen helping the wounded American soldiers. After they finish up, Sanchez tries to go out of the tent, but she suddenly forgets the lights were on inside the tent. This caused Conte to fear being located, so he went into the tent to scold Sanchez. He says harsh words at her and makes her feel bad, but Valera takes her back and explains that she is just inexperienced. He pointed out that this is war, and they are not out camping. Abda turns off the lights again as Conte leaves and turns it back on after he goes out. After his departure, they both tell Sanchez that a single mistake could cause them many lives, and those are the ones they usually remember. Back at the base, a female soldier named Alvite and the previous commander got ready to depart for the area. The helicopter responsible for the rescue on the other side was ready to take off. The helicopter responsible for the rescue on the other side was ready to take off. It was short and quick, and they took the best military helicopter there is to carry and flip over the dysfunctional craft at the scene. Late at night, the two snipers who were guarding the outside of the base on the hill spotted a man on a motorcycle arriving at the area. Although he is not armed, Lieutenant Content gets more information from the camp that 4 more SUVs and 3 motorcycles are also approaching them. Conte then declared to his soldiers that an attack is possible and that they should stay alert, including the snipers. At this time, a shepherd riding a motorcycle quickly approached them, and a herd of goats gets dispersed, led by some terrorist-armed Talibans. They are sneaking so as not to be seen by the military, but soon enough an open fire begins. Aguilar and the translator were running to reach another side of the mountain, but a motorbike without a rider caused a distraction. The translator gets shot in the process, and Aguilar rushes to seek cover, but his leg is shot. A soldier calls out for a medic to take care of Aguilar and Varela, and the others rush to the scene. By now, the shooting has started heavily, and soldiers are getting hurt. The medic is struggling to offer help amidst the fire, and Aguilar and the other wounded soldiers are left helpless. Conte is shooting in one direction, and for a while, the terrorist group halted their fires. This gives the Spanish soldiers a chance to call out for medical help, and Varela and Abda finally arrive. They help the one in the group, but one of the snipers has a fresh wound up on the hill. Sanchez is aiding them as she can, but soon she arrives at the hill to take care of the sniper men. She shortly asks for a stretcher, and the man is brought to the tent for more assistance. The Chinook transport plane got to the battlefield, and Tiger helicopters helped it land. After that, the soldiers started giving out bullets. They just needed to get the Jaguar helicopters ready to leave the area safely. They had to leave the battlefield early because they were low on fuel. The terrorists who were hiding also found a chance to come back and get ready to attack. They attacked 3 times to surround the Chinook transport plane. Soldiers on the ground kept attacking the terrorists. People with guns on the helicopter also started using big machine guns to fight back the enemy. With the bravery of the soldiers, the hook on the Chinook finally got attached to the Jaguar. At that time, a rocket-propelled grenade, RPG, was shot at the Chinook. Luckily, the pilot saw it in time and avoided the danger. The shaking body of the plane also made the helicopter below shake. At the same time, another Chinook helicopter landed on the ground to get ready to take the soldiers away quickly in case of an emergency. Seeing that the terrorists were about to attack again when the incident happened, the captain immediately told the soldiers to quickly find the shooter's position and kill him. However, at that time, a motorbike was actually carrying another shooter. The helicopter was coming close. When the captain saw it, he immediately stopped. As a result, the motorcycle rolled away before the captain could get close. The captain killed him immediately. In the next second, a terrorist attacked the captain. The two started to fight. The terrorist knocked out the captain. He just picked up the rocket launcher on the ground and got ready to launch it. When the army doctor saw it, she immediately picked up her gun and shot at him. Only then was the crisis successfully solved. They quickly started to help the injured friends, pulled the helicopter back, and at the same time, the Chinook helicopter successfully made the shaking Jaguar helicopter below stable. The 2 helicopters slowly took off and got ready to leave. Armored vehicles on the ground found out that they were also following the helicopter and started to leave. The terrorists still didn't give up and kept attacking. A friendly attack on them was launched. The force was not trained as terrorists and put a car bomb on their early road. The driver had to stop suddenly, and the shooter quickly started a strong attack on the attackers surrounding terrorism, causing both sides to be stuck. Team members on the helicopter found out their teammates were trapped, and the pilot wanted to go back to help. In this case, the Jaguar helicopter had to be left behind. Just as the pilot was in a difficult situation, 3 more Tiger helicopters rushed into the battlefield. failed. They blew up a car bomb with a laser and took this chance. The ground troops quickly started their vehicles and rushed out of the terrorist siege. The film comes to a close. At a final moment, we see Conte sitting in the front seat, leading the way as the siege ends successfully, and they depart from the area. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.